everyone, it's me Sabrina back again with another video for you. And in today's video we're diving into some real issues that don't just affect renters, they also affect small property investing businesses like myself as well. Now we all know about the cost of living crisis and how it's affecting all of us and how it's especially affecting all of our tenants that are out there. It's really making life tough for tenants, and especially when rental prices seem to be going up and up and up. That comes with a lot of these property scams, and it's all going off on other platforms as well, like Facebook Marketplace, Airbnb, and all of these scams. It just makes tenants lose trust in landlords in general, so it really does have a knock-on effect on us as property investors as well. And I saw, well, not so recently now, it was a couple of weeks back, I did see a documentary that flashed up on my YouTube timeline about all of these property scams, and it was from Channel 4, and that just kind of spurred me on to make this video. And obviously with the past few years that I have been actually actively investing, this is something that I'm really passionate about. Obviously if you've been on the channel a while, you would have seen in other videos that I do kind of like how to and little tips and tricks for people that are getting into property investing with the view to be renting out their properties, just so that they can, you know, almost make this idea of the dirty landlord as something of the past. Like, I just want to shake up the rental market, especially for private landlords, and just make sure that we don't get as bad a rep as we seem to be getting. Because trust me, a smaller landlord really does want to have the tenants' wishes and will at heart, and they want to make sure that they're providing a real decent home for those tenants to live in. And that's my mission anyway, and I just want to make sure that we change this sort of view of these landlords so that people know that the smaller private landlords, they're there for the tenants' best interests. I come from an architectural background. I'm an architectural designer by trade, so I love really looking at spaces and seeing that how we can reuse and reconfigure them. So my property plan is what I'm going to be sticking to, and I've already talked about this in other videos as well, is renovating these properties that aren't used anymore, disused, just sat there being neglected, especially commercial properties, and sort of rejigging the layout and then bringing them back into the housing stock so that someone can call that their home. By the way, my name's Sabrina, and as I've just said, I'm literally documenting the whole of my property journey here on YouTube. So if you want to see that and see how I'm doing that, maybe think about subscribing, like and comment. And I really want to get back into that whole renovation and bringing back properties that maybe aren't loved as much back into the housing stock, but more on that later on in the video. So first things first, this cost of living crisis. Now some people really are feeling the pinch, you know, from anything from grocery prices all the way through to their rents. And these people are the people that these scammers are targeting, especially from watching this Channel 4 documentary. As for many of us, renting is an only option. So with that comes people that want to prey on that and scam people out of their money. So from what I've seen on this documentary, basically people are hiring out Airbnb in rooms and flats and things like that, and then putting on this whole charade, even pretending to be an estate agent at one point on one of the scams, just so that they can get people through the doors and signed up, and then as soon as they've signed over their deposit money, obviously they've disappeared, they've gone, and the tenant's thinking, oh, we're going to be ready to move in soon. They've gone back, or at least tried to contact whoever owns the property to tell them what's happened, and then unfortunately the person who's actually owned it has said, well, you know, this is not the first time it's happened, or such and such has happened, this person's contacted me and I've only just found out that they rented it through Airbnb, and then they put an advert out on Facebook Market or something like that in one of these areas where there's a lot of rental demand for each and every property. They're just preying on people's being so desperate that they overlook all the red flags and then hand over a large amount of money over to them in cash or whatever, or bank transfer, and then they're nowhere to be seen. And that just really broke my heart, because I just thought then it's not only the tenants that are being scammed out of their money, the owners are also dealing with that as well, because then they've got all this sort of negative press and everything on their hand as well, and the pressure on their hand when they've just put their room up on Airbnb. It's just all on Facebook Market. And I think even the host, Anna, the whole reason why she went out and did this, because she got scammed in that way herself. And I just think it's just horrible. It's terrible, because you've got both people that are both sets of parties, you know, one the landlord and obviously the tenant, that have been hit hard by this. And it's just horrible thing to see. But if you're anything like me, you won't just want to sit back and let this kind of thing slide. So I was really, really happy where there was a segment in the documentary where Anna actually confronted one of the scammers. Obviously, they couldn't do too much, but here's the thing, sort of watching that on television and seeing them confronting it, at the time it can seem cathartic, but we actually, as landlords and responsible property investors as well, we need to be doing more to protect our tenants. Now, I don't think I will ever put anything on Airbnb or Facebook Market. I will always do it through a professional estate agent. They make sure that the tenant goes through so many checks before, which obviously protects you as a landlord, but it also just shows you the level of professionalism, and it just makes sure the tenant knows that this is not a scam, it's not something that they can just see Facebook Marketplace, it's an actual real life legitimate posting for a flat to rent. And I think that's what we need to be doing really, so that it cuts down on the amount that's going out there on Facebook Marketplace, just so that tenants are more protected against this kind of thing happening. You know, we need to stay vigilant, we need to be watching these type of things, and we need to be careful and smart and one step ahead, and just make sure that we are practicing what we preach. We are providing safe, affordable places for people to live in comfortably, and that's what we're doing. I mean, I myself, I put all the tenants' deposits do not go to me directly. I am part of the deposit scheme that I have, and everything goes into there. It doesn't come to me for deposit. It literally all gets held in a deposit protection scheme. And this is another reason why I'm making this video, because we need to bring attention and awareness to these type of scams and make sure that our tenants just, this is one more video on the topic, so that hopefully if one person alone sees this, thinks, you know what, let me watch that documentary, or you know what, that advertisement, that looks like it's going to be a scam. I'm not going to go for it, and I'm going to save my money. And if it stops one person not being scammed, then my work's done. And again, I've got videos on my channel as well for people who are just starting out, maybe doing property investing, and they're wanting to have tips and tricks on how to rent. I've got videos on how to do with inventory reports, how to check tenants in, so to speak, just all tips on how to rent and rent well to government guidelines. So how to provide tenant repair tips sort of through a tenant pack, repair procedures, things like that. Obviously, whenever you do look on the Facebook Marketplace, you can just see what a wild, wild west it is of ads, and obviously a mixture of scams as well, all mixed in. And if you're a tenant, just be aware, if something looks too good to be true, then that's probably what it is. It is too good to be true. Just keep your wits about you, read all the fine print, look through everything, look into the details, and just please do not be parted with your money so easily. So what to take away from this? If you're a tenant, just please be vigilant, read the ad properly, do your own research, really look into it before be parting with any of your hard-earned cash. Make sure that whoever you're renting from has got a reputable tenancy agreement, they've done an inventory check, they've gone through all of that with you. There's a place to sign officially for when you're handing over the keys and you're doing that in person. You can obviously do things on DocuSign and things like that, or Adobe DocuSign. That's really, really good, but just make sure that you're meeting someone before. Hopefully that person's giving you a tenancy pack, and they're also giving you the government how to rent guide as well. Just make sure that you've gone through all of those. If you can possible, please do stick to an estate agent rather than going on to Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, just be really, really vigilant, because we just do not want you guys to be scammed anymore. It's just horrible and heartbreaking to see this. And again, if you are a new investor, if you are investing in property and you're planning to rent as well, just make sure that you've got all of these things in place to protect your tenant, and that you're providing your tenant with a lovely, decent, affordable and really, really nice place to live. And if you want more tips on that, if you watch this playlist next, it will give you a bit of a guide on how I've done this renovation through to renting. Thanks guys. See you in the next one. Bye.